All right. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know you guys can hear me. I had to like unmute one thing. I see it's sensing Kip. Obviously, still working out all the sound issues here. It's showing that it's moving, but like I said, let me know. I didn't think I changed the setting, but maybe I did. It never ends. It's one of those days already. It's Monday. I see it moving. I know it's registering. I just don't know what's going through, so I don't have it on there. So you guys are gonna have to let me know if you can hear me or not. I'll wait. I know there's a little bit of a delay, just to be sure. Yeah, okay. Kip is obviously here, in case you guys can hear. Mm, are you able to hear sounds? Let's see. Nora must be sleeping because he's normally pretty good about this. Mm, stop, Kip. No. Mm, stop. Get down. There you go. Go play. All right. Let's see. Let me play with this a little bit here. Actually, you know what? I get it this way. I know what I can do. Let's see. It's working. I can hear it. So if you guys heard some other movement there. There you go. Thank you, Jeff. Everybody else is sleeping today, so it must be a Monday morning for everybody. So yeah, so it's working. All right, good. All right, so obviously voice is not 100% today as well. I'm home with 3 sickies today. So Kip is coughing, Jin's homesick, and Reese is homesick. So Asher's the only one. He tried to get out of school because everybody else was, but I was like, nope. And then Melissa's also sick, but she went to work too. So it's me and the 3 sickies. So we'll see how many disruptions I have today. We'll do the best we can with it. Hopefully, it's not too bad. Yeah. Anyway, let's get started. So definitely a busy week today. We've already gotten some news from the GDP for the pound. Great data. Looks great. You're seeing a little bit of pound strength in there. Retracing now as profit taking comes in. Euro pound up a little bit, 9. Again, with all the news this week, it's kind of going to be my eyes a little bit of a slow start. Middle of the I want to say middle of the day, but if you look, 3:25 today, we have Macklin speaking for Canada. I think that's going to be pretty interesting to hear what he has to say. Again, Canada is slowing down a little bit earlier than other people, which is fine. And again, they've had some really great data. And originally, it was that their next one was it, but their data was really good. And then they made some comments about potentially, we're not done. We want to make sure we do this as long as it's appropriate. So kind of putting that language in there that there could be more coming, right? So with that, again, that's what we got in for today. Tomorrow, again, that's where we really start getting the crazy days of a lot of stuff. We have our claim account coming in early on for the pound, again, that European Open time frame. We have Bailey speaking at 6 a.m., and then bam, we start cranking in. And remember, last week's PPI, everybody's like, yeah, this doesn't meet our narrative, but let's see what CPI does. Yeah, CPI is the one that matters the most, right? So I mean, they kind of keep changing the story around to really kind of which one is the most important, right? So from again, 8:30 tomorrow morning, it is a big one. Everybody will pat themselves on the back that the year-over-year number is only 7.3, but again, does the 7.3 really matter? We know we're at a high level of inflation. This is the change from last year, meaning that in the last year it's gone up 7.3. Yeah, it's not as bad as the 7.7, but it's not like the inflation went down. It's still a positive number. It's still moving in a direction that we don't like. And again, on the monthly basis, it is continuing to go higher. So we're not seeing that flattening like a lot of people had kind of assumed. A lot of people were looking at that, and the one we got one data reading, and everybody's like, "That's it, inflation is it. We've peaked. We're done. All right, we're good. Don't need to raise anything anymore, right?" But again, seeing a 0.3 is not the direction you want to head into, and then particularly because of the core. Originally, remember, CPI in general, it includes everything. So energy costs were in there, right? Energy and food. core kind of strips those things out, but core is moving just as much as everything else. So not really what we're looking for. That's what we got tomorrow, and then obviously Lois speaking. As far as the news front goes, really a lot of Chinese news, right? A lot of Chinese news out there. I don't even want to say news. I said it's more kind of more headlines, I guess is a better way to say it, right? A lot more headlines for China right now. This is kind of the big one, and we kind of mentioned it last week. There's actually a couple news articles that I saw that were kind of in the same tone, I guess is the right way to say it. Just a continuation of that kind of trend of it all. But basically, that China's moving forward to buy all the oil and gas in the yuan, and the move could threaten the U.S. Global dominance, right, in the long run. Again, we mentioned it last week. China they signed a ton of deals in the Middle East, right? And again, they've already started to buy things. They're trying to get greater adoption of it. This is absolutely a huge threat because, again, if the dollar is not the kind of world's reserve currency, when they're looking for something that they can use, they're not going to be like, you know what, that Bitcoin thing looks great. No, it's not how it's going to work. It's going to be probably something like, the Chinese currency, because they are the next, mover and shaker, in the upcoming world. So, yeah. Not much else to say about it. It's a good article. I think it's important that you guys all read it. I think there's more to this story. I don't think this story is over. I think we're going to get more out of it. And again, we're going to start seeing more headlines. Not necessarily this week, but in the next year, I think it's going to come up a whole heck of a lot more. So, again, a lot of those headlines are talking about the economies all over the place. But the biggest one is the fact that they are buying in their own currency. They're not using the dollar. They're circumventing it. And they're really, again, my opinion is why they're doing this now is to solidify basically the sanctions that are coming. And I say sanctions that are coming because, again, I do feel that they are going to wrap Taiwan up. And the United States is going to be all pissed off about it. Like, that's it. We're going to sanction them. And if they can secure all the resources and everything else like that separate, then you don't need the United States. So it is what it is. Anyway, last 24 hours since the open, obviously the pound is the biggest mover. Dollar's been rather flat there, but we are seeing more or less dollar strength across the board because we know what's coming this week. We are raising interest rates. It's not an if, right? They're definitely raising. And it's, I guess the piece of it is now is it not so much that they're raising, because again, I think that the raise is at this point pretty much like guaranteed, no change there, right? It's how much, and well, the 0.5 is in. I think that's guaranteed. Are they going to confirm the 0.5, and then what does the next one look like? I think is the big question. So. Oh, sorry. My nose is just like, oh, it's actually more sinuses than nose. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. All right. So let's go over into and dive into charts. So the VIX, obviously a little higher, right? And again, that happens, right? Again, weekend, there's a lot of headlines, right? There's a lot out there, right? Is it anything too crazy? No. I mean, again, nice little pop. I expected to roll back down today. A lot of this is anticipation for what we have. You can see, even though it's up this high, like you look at this, like, holy crap, that's a big spike in the VIX. Look at the indices. Indices are really not doing anything. They're totally flat. Two of them are up, two of them are down, and they're barely up or down, right? 0.1, 0.05, 0.3, 0.08, nothing in there big. Commodities, oil up again, but we're still at 72. Like, if we're below 80, I'm like, yep, good. No problems with that one. You're seeing natural gas. Natural gas is up 8.7%. That's a big spike up there. That's more than what normal is. So we got to look for that. You can see gold and silver both down 0.6. They're kind of at the same pace, so they're not kind of going at the accelerator rate that they could potentially go at. But we talked last week about getting short these things. You know, again, with interest rate rising, CPI, everything else out there, this is going to be a week of how do you question inflation. Going across over into the currency. So let's adjust some of these. You know, again, we were looking for a top last week. We had one. We got another one that kind of went in. We can technically, I guess, run. Let's pull this off just to get this out of the way so I can adjust it. You know, we can run this up. Right, there's our current level. Again, this was a trade from last week. Pull that off. We can draw some new highs in this one. Again, decent level. It spent some time basing there. It didn't touch it in the overnight, but I do think it is a pretty valid level, particularly because it is boxed in with a 71.8. And that was an 11:30 kind of reversal out there. Again, I don't like the 78 typically, but the way that this one is kind of pushed across, I think it's a decent level that we mark off and watch for later in the week. Now, when I say later in the week, it's kind of like, you know, what? Whoops, not that one. Where is it? Right there. So later in the week, I think that this is a level that we can use. It is a dollar strength based move. Kip has got his blue truck in the in the hallway. He's like, I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but yeah, if you hear this like grating noise, yeah, it's Kip. I like this one. There's so much U.S. based news. I think this is one that we continue and we kind of follow the rest of the week. The 68.01. Again, you can just put it to 68 if you want. I mean, it's so close. Right there. Levels that we got to look for. I think right now, there is probably a small little bumper out here right around the 50. And again, that may be our tentative reversal where the dollar, we kind of see a little bit of dollar weakness, kind of reversing back from the European session. I do think a target down here, the 67.16 is still valid. It's definitely level. It's in between two levels right now, not as big of a concern. Probably going to be a little bit of a hiccup right here as well. I'll leave this in the yellow, but the 61.8 for this big reversal from bottom to top is sitting right there. And it is a pullback. There is an impulse, a correction, then a strong impulse move out of it. So if you are short, I think the 50 or the 61.8, either of these two should be your targets for this morning to take out. I do think all the way down here, there could potentially be a reversal based off the level and the pop. I like this confirmation better than I like the one at the 61. But again, you know, 61.8 traders and algorithm, things like that will always be coming back in at the same time. So a lot, you know, a bunch in there. What? Oh, no, we cannot discuss my selling my house. That's weird. So that's what we're looking for there. Again, for this week, Aussie dollar, I think, is one of the pairs that you guys should be looking at the most. The reason why I say that is because, again, everything that the United States dollar is doing this week is meant to crush inflation, which is also hurting the Aussie. So I think that this is going to be the pair to watch, really kind of track these lines. And again, a lot of the telltale signs are going to happen from the European session to US-based session as we come into that news. As far as news goes for the week, wow, Kip, you're really great in that thing across. Here's all the US-based news, right? So again, big Tuesday morning, Wednesday, again, all the statements in here. And again, the economic projections, I think, are going to be a big one for this one. Thursday, we got all the retail sales in there, again, for November. And then again, the flash services. So each day, there's kind of a trade setup for this one. And that's just the US-based data, right? You know, there is actually Aussie data in here as well, too, that we can use. Again, their unemployment at night, low speaking, and then obviously that's next week, their monetary policy. But this is another one on Wednesday. So Wednesday has the 2 o'clock stuff, and then the 7:30, all back again. So a bunch in there for this pair. Now, Aussie yen. Aussie yen, here's a level that we had talked about last week. We were like, come on, get there. It finally did. It got there Friday at 11 o'clock, but again, depending on whether you want to hold this one, we don't hold over the weekend. The market closed out kind of right here, didn't do much. And then Sunday, it did open and did drive back to the downside. So a couple ways you could have played this one. Sunday was right here. There is a touch. It is kind of pushing to the downside. This is more of a yen play right now than anything else. We've talked about being short from here at this 92.83. It is a 61.8. There is a level there. And again, we drove very, very strong into there on Friday morning. And then really Sunday night had a push. The push was only about 42. It's still got more room to run. If you are short this position, I think watch out for this level right here. This is where the start of the move is behind the green candles. I'll put that there, but this is where your profit target is going to be if you are short. Be cautious with this one. It did spike up and down. I think, how far we got on that one? 36. I would not take it as a reversal because it's playing with this level. But that's where I would be looking to take profit if you were still in this trade. And again, we closed up in that level. That's a great Sunday night trade. And again, you've had a couple different entries for this one to push down. So again, stop loss at break even, or just bank a little bit in at this point if you're in. But we should see this continue to deteriorate. And again, it may be yen, it may be awesome. There's two different ways for that one. But again, same trade as last week. Euro dollar. So euro dollar, we had a nice push all the way down, and in the European session, we really kind of slammed dollar weakness in. Right now, again, there is a top there. You can see the confirmation is coming in here, right? And again, it's kind of a deep top, but you can see there's where it is. It didn't quite confirm there, but we have hit it now. And again, now we're reversing, and this is more of a dollar strength-based trade. European market, oh, it's got a heart. Oh, wait, they changed this. Look at this. This is new. Nature, currency, objects, arrows. Wow. Nice little upgrade. Anyway, there's European start. U.S. session start. So again, looking for this coming back down again. Still keep this one marked off. You're 104.86. Again, we still have that Harry Potter trade here. It's hit this zone enough times at this point. We got a nice little push to the downside. So if you are short right now, I don't think it's necessarily a bad position. I do think the market tries to prepare itself and kind of pre-moves a little bit because we all know what the news is going to be. I'm actually expecting dollar weakness to come in with the Fed release because they're going to say 0.5 and people are like, oh, look, 0.75, they're slowing down. Whoa! And some people are like, oh, they raise interest rates, and then look at that as a short. But we'll see where we are. Obviously, on this one, there's a little bit of a hiccup, and then again, your overall profit taking needs to be taken before you get back to this level. But yeah, it's kind of where you're at right now. So it's already in. Euro pound. Chop, 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 chop. So we talked about this on Friday. We marked off saying, hey, listen, see where we open Sunday night, and then see where we're going to be, to the European Open to determine where trend is. It didn't really give us anything. It didn't go high. It didn't go low. It literally just based in that same level. Went up a little bit and then pulled back down, but there's been no movement. So again, there was not enough news for this one in the overnight, even though the data was good. It literally just gave us a little pop and then kind of retraced back again. So again, right now, the main big focus right there is not for the euro or the pound right now. We're just seeing way too much sideways movement in this one. Their whole session's been open and it hasn't moved at all. So, yeah. So not really what we're looking for, right? We want more, right? We want more out of this one. And it's not giving us a telltale sign whether the euro is strong, pound is strong. There's no real true indication for this one. So using it just as that purpose, unfortunately, there's not much we can do with it. All right. I think right now, still, we wait for top or bottom. Again, we had the profit target. That profit target was hit. We never got to pull back into it. So, again, there's no entry on there. If you were waiting for it to hit and then just kind of go out, then, yes, you could have taken it there. And you would have been well outside of the trade. But as far as looking for it to come up and then bounce back with a, kind of a confirmation entry, nothing. Totally sideways. Not enough movement. Not enough interest, really, in this one to give us any type of trade, nor use it for really any type of indication of where we should go. Euro yen. So euro yen, you can see we ran in this morning around that reversal time. We did run into kind of a little level. We've hit it before. And again, we talked about these 2 wicks. We talked about another level. We mentioned 144 was really, again, that's where we had the red. We were looking for the short. That's what we just ran into. So, I mean, this trade is pretty much initiated at this point. You're, what, about 32 into already? Not much really to say. Let's see. Yeah, there's plenty of room to run back down, but yeah, definitely some 61.8, I think is something to take note of, right? I'm not really concerned about the 23.6 on this one. That one right above the 50, it's all right. Not really concerned about the 50 either. Yeah, that 143.86. Watch that zone. There was some basing there. It did spend a lot of time there and then pushed away. And then kind of on the test, again, it was a very quick pop and then, you know, very quick touch and then didn't spend any time here. So, probably pretty decent. Um, if I, you know, if you're short this one, I think you put two profit targets in. I think you put ones then right there. There's number one, and then number two, stick yourself right there with an eventual. Again, you don't want to mess with this 41 through 43. It's a decent enough pop, which is not bad. You know, from entry, you're looking at about 60 pips and then about 90 pips. So not too bad. Again, just like the Aussie yen, though, this is we're starting to see the reversal. So, it's not bad. But again, this is a level from last week. Right now, we still do have the Harry Potter down here. And again, remember, this is a little bit riskier of a Harry Potter, but we've hit that area. Again, Friday morning, we jammed off of it. So there's still going to be a short trade coming in right there. Okay. There's a trend continuation. All right, pound dollar. All right, so pound dollar. Talked about this last week. Obviously, the news blast was in there. We talked about this kind of, pushing through at 11:30. Again, it was Friday late. We're not necessarily interested in it. We wanted to see what happened from European Open. European Open was straight up. Remove that. You could extend this one across. It doesn't really matter. You can see it's very, very similar to what the Aussie dollar was. Came up in around 9:30, 8:30, 9 o'clock. U.S. session rollover is where we're seeing the dollar strength push back in again. So very similar. Let's see. I don't like how it stays on the heart. Like, I don't want it to be the heart. Right? Oh, it just cycles through. Yeah, I mean, like, I've used this one twice now, and it stays on the heart. It really wants me to use the heart. I really don't want to use the heart. I heart my coffee, but not on Monday mornings. So, yeah, think on this one as, again, we had great pound data coming in. We should see profit taking in there as well as the U.S. session online. Sorry, now he's got dinosaurs. I thought he was beating his sister, but he's just growling for the dinosaur. This one probably rolls back down again. I don't really like it for an entry. The 21, 23, not really interested here. The 50, there's some sellers in there, but I'm not going to use the heart. Not going to use it. I'll put checks here. Look, we got one touch. Oh my God, it's going to make me use the heart. I really don't want to use this the whole time, right? Going to make it easier. You have three touches at that 50% level. So for me, I don't know how much more we're really interested in taking that as far as the buy area. You got to watch out for it, respect it. But I think the touch is a little bit lower down here. So right now, I would say in a short, look for this to roll back down today. And again, this could be an area where, again, any bit of this U.S. news could give us that reversal that we're looking for. And again, just replaying, the dollar, the dollar strength move. So I'd like to see it roll back down. But you guys are looking for where that is. It's approximately 121.94. Pound yen. All right, so pound yen. We had this one marked off for news. It was great pound data. I'll remove it and I'll kind of show you. So, I mean, here was our retracement from 10:30 on Friday. We pushed back down again. Now, this is an interesting one. I'm going to run this for you guys top to bottom so you guys can see. We started down here Sunday late last night at this level. We kind of started where the news was. We had pushed back down and almost in that level. I would say that this one was a little bit tricky, right? There's the low of the red. It did not breach it. This is kind of a news-based trade, right? We knew it was a 50% level. We knew we had some confirmation there. We did have ascending candles there. It wasn't bad. If you got into this one, again, great trade. Absolutely a news-based setup. Not too difficult. The risk on it for the pound was not bad at all. It was only about 15 pips. And again, how often do we get a risk in the pound yen at 15 pips? It obviously ran at 45. To its peak from entry, it was 138. So more than enough room to run. Right now, again, one touch, and then we broke and pushed through. Not necessarily interested in getting this one long. I think at this point, sorry, I heard the door close. It was kept slamming the door into its face. I'd really like to see this continue to come down, burn right through these 23 people that we're getting in, and then start to push back down on the 50. So I'm kind of looking for this one to get back down to the 167.40. It looks very similar to the Aussie yen and the Euro yen, and right now, again, if you're in the trade still. Again, take your profit. You're well beyond where it needs to be. you know, again, easy news-based setup, and we talked about that last week. Oops, right there. This good pound data is exactly what this is right here. Right. So again, not a parabolic move per se, but I mean, if I do it on a, you can see straight up, problems, it should roll back down. So, and again, that coincides with the same narrative that we got on the other yen pairs. Dollar CAD. What are you doing now, Kip? Oh, yeah. All right. So dollar CAD continuing to raise up. I wouldn't say this one was major. We'd mentioned levels up top, and that's kind of where we're standing right now. We're kind of close to it. I would say my thing for dollar CAD right now is still bearish. Again, you may say, wait a second, we're going to raise interest rates, all that other stuff. Yeah, but we already know we're going to do that. The market's already factored it in there. As I said, this one is really setting up more for a short. I do think that the oil situation, like I said, I think we're going to get some more headlines. There is definitely some comments. Buddy, what are you doing? Yeah, he now opens drawers. I think we're looking for oil to spike. I think that's coming in, and where we're at right now. Again, anywhere around this 136, 80, 90-ish level, 137 right here, backstop. I think this is a level we watch out for. And again, we have hit it like 3 times. Again, this is more the aggressive front. That's kind of where we're at right now. But if I remove the aggressive from this level, you can see. I mean, it barely is able to breach in here. This one a little bit deeper. We're approaching that right now. The 1030 is coming in. You know, again, it's more of a commodities boom right now than anything else. So for dollar CAD for me, again, we're looking for somewhat, short. And again, had you been in this one on Friday 8:30, it popped in and it blew immediately out. We just haven't got that entry again. So here's a tool to customize a preset powered safety setting. I don't know what that is. Okay. Dollar Swiss. All right, so dollar Swiss, not really giving us much movement. You can see this was a level we mentioned last week, kind of bouncing back and forth between these two. We're still right there. We got a Harry Potter if it goes a little bit lower, and again, this may come in lower later in the week. Right now, we're just really kind of stuck between these two, these two levels. If you want to run some fibs off of it, again, it's always helpful. You can see the first time it popped through, it kind of paused. Anybody that tried to short this one that got in, they're like, yeah, I'm going to short at 23.6, boom, got stopped out. Right now, the only really kind of true buyers or sellers that we see right here are around the 50. There's been kind of driven back twice. Not really a definable level right now. So dollar Swiss is kind of in a weird spot. You can see right now it's down. It's down 0.02. So really not tons of movement. We're kind of stuck in a sideways channel. I think we really need to get around more U.S.-based news to get this one to kind of give us a decent bit of movement. It's just not. There's nothing set up, nothing that I'm in love with besides our break of the 92.91. And we got enough room right now with it pulling away. We got about 50-something pips for that one to go. Daily ATR is still 98. Again, it's under 100 again, but it's still artificially high. So, you know, where this one pulls back, maybe you see a little reverse off this one, but it's not a level that I'm really in love with right now. So, again, kind of letting this one just sit for a little bit. As far as dollar yen, we talked about this, the 3 different ways to get in, pull that off. As you can see, Friday, 9:30, we kind of drove back down again, and then about 12 o'clock, it started to reverse. Most likely, you got stopped, or not stopped out, but you closed this one down here. At right there, Friday, Sunday, right there. So you stopped this one out, not stopped out, but you closed it out for a plus 30 on Friday. Again, we just pull it off again because we don't use it again. You know, it's been through here 3 times, and we rolled over on the weekend. So, as far as the push goes, I think we could take it off. The 78 is about, is the next one to be hit. Pull that. We're going to keep that there. We'll run from there. We're not quite there yet, but I'm wondering if that's where. If we reverse there, then it makes sense. So look, what I'm doing is I'm looking over here to see where like the last area of sellers were, and if they come up to this line. Look at the 50, how as soon as I bring this back up again, look how the 50 all of a sudden pops itself out right there, right, as a level. It's not currently a level right now. I mean, again, I guess it's backstopped by the 50, so you could say, oh, look, it's backstopped by the 50 if it stops right now. But I think if we come up to, this 135 or 137.60-ish level, that's the last time when we saw the sellers come in here. right? And again, when you come across, you can see that's where the last big push came. If that's where the reversal is, and again, we get that yen strength like we're seeing in other pairs and some dollar reversing, now all of a sudden that 50 is a pretty exciting level. So I think right now, keep this on your radar. It's not quite set yet. Remember, the dollar yen is going to be more challenging in the trade this week. The reason why is, I mean, again, one's meant to crush inflation, but at the same time, it's like, how do we not kill, how do we not kill the markets? Basically, is what it is kind of coming back down to. Hold on one sec. No. Sorry, Melissa, shoot me a message. Trying to figure out, like, okay, I don't need to. Wait, what? Yes. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. We're trying to coordinate the day here with all the sick kids at home. So it's one of those things. It's like, how do we coordinate with all the sickies, right? Got all the sickies here today. All right. What? No. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. What? No, you're fine. No, you cannot get in there. Oh God, he's gonna slip all over the place. All right. So again, just watch this one. Going to be more difficult to play this week because both measures really have a lot of play on this one, as being the dollar as well as the proxy back and forth again. So just keep that in mind when that moves. All right. Cryptos holding 17, 1250, and 77. Not big. TLT's up a little bit. But again, you're seeing it deteriorate fast. And again, that's what we saw. We saw that dollar weakness come in, and then the dollar strength was rolling in since the U.S. session, right? And that's why this is pushing back down again. So we'll see if that continues to deteriorate. So let's go into the commodities. So commodities-wise, this one is really kind of just grinding back and forth in this kind of sideways channel. Here's Friday, and then Sunday popped right here. You can see there's a little bit of a gap. Excuse me. It did come down in the overnight and grab that level. And again, this really kind of was the kind of morning reversal of things. Is it, is that a telltale sign? Hey, definitely go long there. It was definitely a weekend bottom. So it's a level that you could have been looking at. You could be in this trade, and again, it's at a 23.6 level now on its most recent drop. So, it's in a level. I'd say I don't disagree with this one. We tend to see more bullish strength inside of the U.S. market. It is kind of more associated with the dollar and kind of the U.S. consumer. So, with where we are, I think it's okay where we're popping. I'm okay with it. Is it a good time to get in now? Not so much, right? It's already got a bit of a move. We really don't have any buyers stepping into oil until we really kind of get up to this level. So we still got some more room to run on there. I do think oil needs to be higher based off of things that we're seeing. I did see there was an article this weekend that talks about, and this kind of surprised me, but we have, I forget what it was, but it was like 5 rigs or something. We have a trend that I forget what it was, but it's the first time we've seen, or not first time, but we have a decline of oil drilling rigs as well as refining rigs, I guess, which is interesting because, we're seeing this story that, we're talking about cutbacks. We're seeing oil prices deteriorate, right? And it's funny because the U.S. is like, no, companies are making too much money. They shouldn't make money. And yet the oil price keeps going down. And, Saudi Arabia has talked about cuts from what they've seen and, because of China and the United States and everything else. And yet we have refineries going offline. So we have supply draining, refineries going offline, but yet oil prices are continuing to evaporate. So, again, it's up 3%. It's at 72 right now. I hate to say this. And again, nobody recorded this. We're not clipping this one. I feel like oil is low right now. Like the price of oil is definitely low. Do I want oil to go back up into the 90s? Absolutely not, right? But I feel like right now on the spectrum of things, I feel like oil prices are low, especially with China not really locking down like a lot of people thought and them changing it. I feel like all the factors are there for oil to rise. I don't want it, right? I don't want like a Christmas rally in oil, but I do feel that right now, based off all the factors that we're hearing, I do feel like it's a little bit on the low side. So 2 selling options. Again, I think one of them comes in here. And again, this one is not the greatest. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. But 70, 74, 75 is one. And then obviously this level up here that's tested, it was an old 50% level based off the old bottom. I think that's another decent level that we had some basic and a nice punch away. But now you got to be looking at this too at the 50 saying, are we going to have a roll here? So there's definitely some play in oil. I think we got a little bit more on the top side today. I think this one is, again, I think there are areas to sell. It's a little bit too long to get in something right now. But whoops, I think we mentioned it last week that, again, kind of get long oil starting the week was probably going to be decent. And again, there was a buying option in there. But I think either of those two are great pullback options. Natural gas. Now, natural gas is on a tear. We closed here and we talked about this last week. Listen, being 930, it did pull back down again. It did reverse back down, but you can see right there, look, it's in the zone. You're not holding this one over the weekend, and this is why you don't hold them over the weekend. 100% case study here. This is the weekend. We went from here all the way up to here. That's exactly why we are not holding this over the weekend. I'll remove it now. With that said, again, we didn't have enough time. It is peaked high, and again, we are kind of all the way back up again. There's sellers up here. I think this one probably fills the gap. Again, 9.3 is extremely high. You can run something like this. Where is it? Technicals, Bollinger Bands. And you can see, again, it's piercing now, but look at this. You had this break here. Look how expanded this. If this is, we'll just take this here, and this is a little bit on the wider side. That's normal, right? Here was the peak right afterwards. You can see we're well outside the range. So I would expect natural gas to be more of a short position. And again, maybe it coincides, but 9.45 is way outside of what the normal is. I would look for this to roll back down again. When we do have a good kind of confirmation short, again, 630 is probably where we're looking for this one to go. I do think it deteriorates, but again, a lot of these comments are, and again, if you're wondering why this is moving, some of this has to do with what we heard over the weekend. And again, I don't know if people are still keeping up with it. It doesn't have the same market impact anymore. There was, I guess, a military celebration or whatever it was. Putin made some comments that I think, I don't want to say are superficial, but at the same time, people are saying, it's war crimes to be brought up. If they're attacking the infrastructure, the energy infrastructure, it's freezing there. That's a war crime. And he made some good comments, like you blew up a bridge, you turn water off to an area, that it's no different. And I hate to say it, I agree with him. If you're cutting water off to areas that you don't occupy, then yeah, it's no different than him going after infrastructure. So it is what it is. We know that natural gas is a hot commodity with what's going on over there. And again, I think those comments are what spurred this. I don't think it changes too much. I don't think I don't think it's going to change the trajectory. I think it's some headlines that people got spooked about. And I think in a couple days, if nothing comes from this, I think this turns and rolls. So I think by Wednesday, we're probably talking about back down to the $6 mark, maybe even the $5.80 mark. Again, if you do know how to play options, this is probably one of those ones that you probably want to go with more of an options-based product. I don't think there's any more. I don't think we get any more surprises during the middle of the week necessarily. But again, it's a very large jump in price for not really any true substance, just some headlines. Geopolitical based, I think we roll back down. All right. Now gold. Gold is up 0.44. I'm sorry, down 0.44. We talked about that. Friday to Sunday is right here. You can see we were already starting to push down again. We got a little bit lower, pulled up, and then pushed, and we are continuing to go lower. So, a couple different areas, and you can see if I bring this across, that's what we bounced off here. You got stuck in here. So all these levels were fine. For oil, or not oil, for gold, again, really, I think every opportunity this pushes up, we look for shorts this week. There's so much U.S. news. Everybody's looking for the dollar to be weak. I don't think we're at that stage yet to get it. I just think that the market is kind of overly bearish on it. What are you doing? You are making a big mess. This is a new level of mess today, buddy. He's so happy to make messes. It's hysterical. But anytime we get anywhere back up to 1800, be looking for shorts. I don't really necessarily have a great level right now. I do like how the green here is higher than the red, which is fine. But again, it's right next to another level at 1806, and with level on top of level, we typically go for the farther one. So again, you could line the gold trade up this week, literally just on U.S. based news. And I think whenever we have a rise up in European session before news, I think we look to take gold short. I think there's a lot of shorting opportunities in this one. Even if we end up the week higher, which is possible, right? if we have a run up in price, like say news is here, I'll move this up. If news is here and we have this before, if we have this before news, I think you absolutely have to be looking for shorts all week in gold. So yeah, no news release today, but tomorrow morning CPI. I think this is a good one to be able to trade for CPI. All right, and that one actually, let's move this over. Right there, right. So there, we can kind of see where we are here tomorrow. Look in the European session. So we'll do this. Actually, we'll do the same thing. This is actually a great way to do it. Right there. Oops. That's what we're looking for, right? European session, release. See what it does during that time frame, whether it goes up or down, right? I think if it goes up or down, that gives us the ability to kind of see what happens. All right. Just kind of a little foreshadowing. Silver. So silver, we were sitting here. We talked about this pop last week, and you can see at about 10:30 it popped up, and we're like, it is probably the parabolic move. It's going to retrace, and it did. But again, silver closes earlier, right? Silver is a earlier closing market. So yeah, we can just slide this higher into that level. You can see there's your Friday. We closed, and then Sunday was right here. Gap down, came back up, grabbed it, and just continued to push. So we talked about getting short. I just want to make this bigger to there. You can see right now, if we take the low to high, this 23 level, I think, is an area we're going to have to watch out for. Right there. I think that's where profit taking will come in on this one. 23 or 4. So yeah, right around that 23 mark. So 530. Interesting little grab there. Actually, it'd be off this. It's all right. How much more rooms I got? Let's do the same thing here. Actually, 2 830. It's fine. We'll go to there. All right. Again, watch those two windows. So what we got for Apple today? Look at Apple. Straight down, straight up, straight down. Kind of lower today. Tesla, people are not happy with Tesla today. Although, again, Tesla folks, you do have some buying in Tesla coming right there. This is somewhat of a parabolic move. Tesla ready, near buying area. Indices, again, we still got 2 up, 2 down, more or less flat. Let's bring this down to a 15-minute. Look at these. Yeah, look at this. Snore fest. Yeah. And nothing. We're not in an area. I mean, there's not even a fib in this one. If you take high to low from last week, look at this. Nothing. No movement in the pre-market from 9. Nothing. No move at all. So again, no real trade setup opportunity here. It does look like, though, it does look like it wants to kind of roll more to the downside. It has found some sellers in there. I think important things to note on this one, again, this is just a simple, I mean, again, we're on a 15-minute chart here, just to keep this all into, into perspective, right? To keep this in perspective. This is a 15-minute chart. If you take the most recent high to low, it is going over the weekend, okay? And a lot of times that's typically like a no-no. But if you do that, there is an area sitting right in here, and it is boxed in between the 50 and the 61.8. Futures, obviously, a lot of technical traders over in that market. Seeing this big burst down again, and again, it's, late Friday. It adds to it. Seeing that big burst down again, I think it's an area that you do have to respect. Again, algorithms and things like that, sometimes, again, they are not programmed to know that, hey, listen, the weekend happened. But if that comes in, I think that's an area right here that I think, I think if you put some focus on this one. Probably more at the 50, yeah. Bottom side of that, and again, it's funny. Not funny, but it's nice how it matches up like this. But 39.9250 happens to be right at the 50, backstop by the 61.8. So there's a lot of things going on here that, purely fib traders are going to look at. and look at this and be like, oh, look at this. No, buddy, stop. So I think watch this. I think this is a spot. All right. But as far as opening print goes, no. I mean, opening print was kind of right here, and it did take a pop, but there's not a level even sitting there. So there's nothing. There's no movement. It's just too flat. NQ, right? NQ, again, NQ did kind of have like a smaller level down here. I mean, here, this lily box is right in. So it did kind of touch, right? It did touch at 9:30. And I would say, is this the best one? It's all right. I don't think if you got into this one, it did trigger. But I don't think you got your 1 to 3 on it. I'll draw it just to be sure. Yeah, you didn't. 1 to 2, but yeah, 7.5. 1 to 3 is sitting right there. Got close, but at the same time, when you look at this, you got to be like, oh, wait a second. You know, there's your opposing side. Do we have the room? Not really, right? Upside, we'd run into it here. Downside, we're running into it back here. It's basically just sideways, right? So kind of a boring Monday as far as that one goes. And again, looks like it wants to break through. And again, the problem is you got all this. So I think it's probably due for a break. I would say this one probably remains negative. We'll see where it goes. But again, no opening print, nothing in there looked attractive at all. Let's see. Yeah, look at this. I'd love to say, hey, listen, it was we're in an uptrend. But if you look at the movement, the price action in here, right? Here's 745, 8, 8:15, 8:30, no movement. 8:45, no movement. 9, no movement. 9:15, no movement. It didn't move at all. It didn't really tell us much in there. Now, again, there will be fib traders that are trying to trade this one, and it looks like we probably had a 50 in there. Yeah. Now, and look, if I can do this across, it's right there. Here is the. All right, so this is funny. So the people that like the 50. They're going to be like, oh, look at this, 50% retracement. It did not hit the 50, right? So it didn't hit the 50. If you do look back here, though, there is a wick against the wall. You can kind of see it there. There's your zone. So, yeah. So I don't know if you guys can see it. The 50% traders, yeah, they didn't get in. But is it a reversal spot? Yeah, I think so. If you're already not in it right now, it's obviously a little bit late. It's all right. It's all right. Like I said, this is the strongest of all of them. So it is a reversal, the strongest, but again, no movement in the pre-market. So obviously it was not an opening print strategy. Nothing. Let's see if Russell had anything. Maybe Russell? No, Russell was playing with the 1800. 845, 915, 930 kind of went down. I mean, I guess you could have said this, but again, a little deep on that one. So, and again, we're right back. So, not really in love with this one either way. No confirmation of that one at all. Let's see if we can find something in the other direction. Give a confirmation there, and not I missed. Nope. Again, old level. That was it. So, yeah, I would say look for a reversal. There's probably a reversal coming in back up in that area somewhere around 1806. It's an all right level. Gotta say, I'm not really super excited about any of these indices setups. Again, none of them had great setups at the open, so they didn't really provide much entry today. And again, it's Monday morning. Not really any crazy news today for the U.S. All the big news comes in tomorrow. Trust me, everybody's looking at CPI. So, I think any of the indices traders right now, I think the big things to look at is kind of see where they're positioning themselves. As far as what we do today, see if there's a lot of movement. Like I said, the markets are going to start preparing. We don't have any headlines, and everybody's talking about tomorrow CPI 0.5. I mean, anything that everybody thinks, feels, smells is already in the market. It's already prepared. It's the calm before the storm. So if we can get some pre-positioning today, whether it be up or down, I think that really helps tomorrow for news. As far as opening print goes tomorrow, you are going to have to be very careful with opening print tomorrow. Again, there's going to be a lot of manipulation. Trying to think. For hmm, hmm. Look, it's funny. It's not even a color. Yellen can make statements about inflation, and there's no color. Hmm. Yeah, I think the best way to play even the indices tomorrow. I'm trying to think. I really feel like, unfortunately, if you're going to be trading futures at the open, you're going to obviously the CPI is obviously going to be affecting it. I think the move will probably already occur but then there will be late stragglers into that market. So we'll see if we can get a kind of a pullback. If there can be, an 8:30 spike, a little bit of a pullback before the open, and then kind of a concerted push. I guess the big question is going to be how much is it missed by? And again, I want to see what the European market does with it first on all the indices. They're all probably going to be tradable, but I think, in all honesty, I think the Aussie dollar will probably be better. Maybe we see European movement. Maybe the euro dollar is the way to go tomorrow because we get European some news early, or even potentially even the pound news coming in. So, yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be a big one tomorrow. Either way, this is going to be a big one. Maybe where's Bailey speaking at? Maybe we play a pound reversal. Maybe that's the way to go with it. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's what we know we have coming in. Like I said, tomorrow the big data is going to be the CPI. Everybody's going to be talking about it. Everybody's going to be forecasting it. What does it mean? Are they going next? What's going to happen at FOMC? This is going to be the big foreshadow for the week. So, yeah. All right. It is what it is. So that's it for today. We're a little bit early, but like I said, it's Monday. Besides the pound, and again, the pound retrace, and there's not really much out there. Everybody's waiting for the CPI coming in tomorrow. So, again, I think gold, silver are ways to play it. Euro dollar is going to be a good one. I think Aussie dollar is going to be an amazing one as well. We'll see if Aussie dollar can, again, help us out a little bit more. If Aussie dollar continues to grind down, it's like, why is that so far away? I was like, it's not that far away. Yeah. Right there. Yeah, buddy. That's the window right now that's going to tell us everything we need to know. European session is see where they drive the dollar, and again, counterplaying it. Because remember, again, just to refresh everybody again, if you're wondering why we're talking about the Aussie dollar so much and why it's so important, Aussie is a proxy for gold. Inflation, the hedge for inflation is gold. That's why gold kind of goes up and down now based off interest rates. If it's considered extremely weak and the CPI is really crap, and it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe this is it, 50 and stop. It looks like it's working already. Again, that's the ability for gold to go long, which means it brings strength into the Aussie. So if we see dollar strength come into the markets, right? Dollar strength comes from here, and all of a sudden we get a bad reading, right, to either of these two, it's a popper, right? It's a popper. So, is what it is. All right. With that said, I'm out of here. Let's go ahead and do the drawing real quick. Will won last Friday, so Will's going for 2. Everybody else is going in for 1. Who are we missing today? Sean again. No, Sean. Got to check on Sean. You're like, Sean, what's up, man? What's up? Yeah, exactly. Right? All right. Let's see. Let's close it down. See who gets it today. Winner is, well, I have to refresh who's here. If I don't say somebody won it last week or last one, they don't know. And then it's like, well, I didn't know I won. I forgot, right? And then I feel bad, right? All right. Winner of today's drawing is, didn't matter anyway. Didn't say her name. Didn't say her name, Neuro. But again, Debbie takes it today. Look at this. It was definitely rigged, right? Let's get Debbie in here. Debbie with her 25. There we go. Starting off the week strong. Starting off the week strong. What do you do, buddy? You hit the buttons. All right. So again, If I can get on early tomorrow, I will, just so we can try to see if we can get any retracements. Again, remember my morning routine is a little bit scattered right now with having to drop Melissa and Jin. Melissa hasn't started the work from home phase yet, so she's still, training, all that kind of stuff in. So, but if I can get on early tomorrow, again, I'll just hit the button and we'll just go. So with that said, I'm out of here today. If you guys need me, shoot me a message on Discord. If not, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks again for joining, and I'll see you then. Take care.